I know Chris from way back, Tom's Hardware. For some years now, he's in Phison. He is an expert in storage and other shit, I don't know.
So our big announcement for the show on the consumer side is the introduction to the E28. This is our next generation flagship product, 8-channel DRAM product. This will be the first drive to deliver 14 gigabytes per second, or over 14 gigabytes per second, both read and write. It's kind of similar to what we did with E18 when that product was the first to break 7 gigabytes per second. Now we're targeting 14 and a half on the sequential performance, 14 and a half, and that's both read and write. On the random side, 3 million IOPS, also both read and write. So this is the product for serious gaming, and even more importantly, like the workstation market, where customers need the ability to both read and write at very, very high speeds. So this is built on the TSMC 6 nanometer process. So a heat sink is not going to be required, but when you get into the workstation applications, it's obviously recommended like any SSD.
Yeah, who expected that SSDs can be so high thermal load, so you need heat sinks and stuff like that to have optimal performance?
Yeah, well, if you look at the way that SSDs move from generation to generation, we're doubling performance. And you don't see a true doubling of performance anywhere anymore, even CPUs.
Double performance
GPUs.
every generation, seriously?
Well,
I didn't know that different.
On PCI Express, yeah. So the max at Gen4 was E18. It's still the fastest Gen4 SSD today, and that was 7.5 gigabytes per second read, and now we're at 14.5. So it's not a true doubling, but there's overhead involved also. So PCI Express-wise, we're doubling. The overhead is obviously increasing too, but when was the last time we've seen a GPU double frames per second?
NVIDIA promised that, but they forgot to mention. Actually, they mentioned that, but they hide it. That only with DLSS 4, double the performance. Yeah. The only thing they do is double the price.
Yes. So, and then on the enterprise side, we showed this drive at Supercompute just a couple months ago. This is a 122 terabyte drive.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So it's 128 terabyte class is what it's called. Then you add in the over provisioning and you end up with 122 terabytes. This is the world's first PCIe Gen 5 enterprise SSD and 128 terabytes. It's dual port for the server configuration, so they can run it in systems with 2 or 4 basically computers inside the rack chassis, and each system can access the drive directly. 0.3 drive writes per day. This product is 14.6 gigabytes per second read and around 3.2 gigabytes per second write. The reason for the lower write speed is the QLC NAND required to run this. To run the capacity up that high. This is the world's first USB 4 native SoC, system on chip. So what you'll see here is there's no bridge chip. You're just coming in USB 4, going directly to the chip, and then from the chip to the NAND. Usually what you would have is a regular SSD controller here and a bridge chip that goes from USB to like an NVMe signal or SATA. It's a very nice solution. This is kind of a bigger one, but this chip was designed to be able to go in all kinds of crazy form factors. So what we'll look at here is one such solution. So everyone's familiar with the circle now on the Apple Sphere. This just magnetically sticks to the back of your phone, run a camera. You can record your video straight to this device or your pictures.
Nice. Okay, so you don't have to worry about buying the largest capacity iPhone out there and pay premium to Apple.
Yes. So this will scale up to 32 terabytes.
To how many?
32 terabytes is the
32.
Yes, 32. That would make a heck of a drive. It would also be very expensive, but it is possible with the number
at this size. No.
Well, no. It will probably be about this size at that point because you've got you've got a use larger die stacks, and then you'll have to use like some switching and some more NAND.
Okay. And you plan on making that a 32, going all the way up there?
Right now, most customers are ordering up to 4 terabytes. But 32 is possible when the NAND is available, which we're looking at maybe June or July for the NAND availability. But that doesn't mean that anyone's going to go and order a bunch of 32 terabyte drives. We should see some companies out there showing the retail version, their version of the U21 here at CES. Talking about mobile, here recently we announced our E31T, and then Corsair has a drive on the market.
Yeah.
Crucial announced a drive yesterday. Now this is a PCIe Gen5 4-channel device with the Crucial solution, the P510. It's 11 gigabytes per second. Sequential read. Yeah. This performance is in a notebook, so when you put this in a desktop, you're actually going to see quite a bit higher performance.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is that it doesn't require a heatsink. The version in this notebook now doesn't have a heatsink. And there's a lot of PCIe Gen 5 notebooks out there that shipped with just PCIe Gen 4 SSDs. So there's a lot more performance to be had just by doing a low-cost upgrade. Now, the ultimate upgrade, though, with this device is putting it into a PCIe Gen 4 notebook to upgrade your aging storage there. So because this is built on TSMC's 7-nanometer process, it's very low power. It's very efficient. This is actually one of the most efficient SSDs ever to be made. Coming from the SSD guy that tested in mobile like all those years, I mean, this is an insane product for this. In this notebook here, this is a Dell 5502 Gen 4, just a run-of-the-mill business notebook. You get about 31 extra minutes for every 6 hours of battery life.
Oh, okay.
So with a full battery on most business notebooks, you're basically looking at about an extra hour of on time.
That's pretty long one. That's cool.
Now, more importantly, because this uses the 3600 megatransfer NAND, that bus speed decreases your latency. And of course, latency is what makes your computer feel fast. Yeah. So in the Mobile Mark 30 test, the performance index, we see 25% increase over, we're calling it competitor P on here. It was considered one of the best Gen 4 efficient drives out there. And now, obviously, that's not the case. E27T is on the market. If people were to have tested it that way, they would have seen that it's faster. And then, obviously, the new E31T goes even quicker.
It's impressive. 1 hour longer battery time is when you have the drive fully working, right? Fully stressed.
No, this is Mobile Mark has a bunch of different stops in it. It basically runs a test script with the actual software, like Microsoft software, Adobe software. It's actually running the real workload.
So the average workload, not something big.
Yeah.